Welcome to episode 3 of our Pact series on Token Go. Today we're going to cover an extension of lists and kind of what we had reviewed yesterday. We're going to go a little bit deeper. This is meant to be high level. You should go back and read about these functions in docs, try them out yourself. But for now, let's dive right into it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to call the utility library. So util-list. See if we got it right. All right, perfect. So we're using free.util-list. So this contract is on every chain, on testnet and mainnet. Pascal did put it together, and I don't think there's anything in there that can do like any harm. For the most part, if you are going to use something, you should evaluate it. And as you go forward, it's good practice to simplify, right? If you don't need to create, 10 functions that are used across all your contracts in your contract, you can kind of keep it cleaner and more repeatable, less opportunity for issues. And so one of the other things that's important in Pact is really, really important is you should always know what your list is going to be, right? So you don't want an infinite list. You actually can't. You'll run out of gas at some point. So it's good to know that you have a fixed length. Again, gas usage is very important to evaluate, and I'll show you why in a moment here when we kind of go through our first operation, which is a search operation. And then the last thing, even with this library, just because it's in the library and it's being used by some of us, you still do need, you do need to evaluate the gas usage and make sure that it's appropriate for what you're doing. If you just need one function out of there and you just want to kind of see how it works, that's fine too. That's what they're there for. They're meant to help. So let's just dive right into this. Let's do our first list. Let's see, B, C. I'll just make it 5 things, and E. Okay. So this is going to be our first list. And so we're going to search this list, right? And we're going to search for B. And it's going to return our index position for B. All right, perfect. So as we know, index position 0 is A. In position 1 is B, 2 is C, D, so on and so forth. Okay, so that is 56 gas. So this is what I mean. So this is like a very, very basic list. Let's do this. Let's just go a little wild here. All right. Well, now we're up to 233 gas, and if these, if you start making these elements larger, if you have a lot more data in here, everything can add up, right? And so each one of these entries, eventually, if you realize, if you had 100,000 entries in here, you could fill out a gas, right? And so it is very important when you're using these things, again, to monitor your gas usage, and that's really what REPL's for. So if you're not familiar with that, it's something I'll cover later on. But essentially, it helps you kind of navigate your gas costs. So let's keep moving on. So we want to keep going through this library real quick, and we're going to evaluate something. So is empty? It's an interesting concept. So is empty, and this is not empty, right? There's stuff in our list. Perfect. It's false. It is, and I believe there is an is not empty, which is the inverse of this. So if you wanted to use is not empty, you could do that, and then the output would be the exact opposite. But let's just stick with one of these examples for now. We have a lot to cover. So we can remove everything in this list, and now it's true. It is empty. So we know, okay, simple way to tell, is my list empty or not? So you can use that in your functions. You can just use it as a free call. There's nothing wrong with that. So the next thing we're going to kind of go over is the concept of enumerating a list. So we have enumerate in a few places in our contracts. You'll see it in like the token, the coin contracts. A lot of people use it to enumerate their chains. It's just easier to see visually. You can enumerate 0 through 19. There's a lot of stuff you can do, but this is for list handling. So we are going to enumerate our list, and you'll see the output. Look at that. So what that just did was it actually returned a list of objects now, which is helpful. And I is the index value, and B is the actual value. So at index position 0 is A. We'll go with that. So it just took our exact list, turn it into key value pairs, and output it for us. There's a lot of reasons that might be really good. If you've done any coding before, this will probably be something that you may have run into before, where you're generating data, you need to mass generate data, things like that. This is a great way to do it. So let's move on. The first item, so this is interesting. So if you want to return the first item in a list, you can do first. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. If you want the last item, you can do last. And so if you wanted to get the first position, the last position, so that you know kind of where you're at in your list, this is a quick, simple way to do that. The other thing that's interesting, so a lot of these you'll notice they're very similar. We can reuse our list in a lot of these. We're going to count. And what we need to do for count is we need to show what we want to count. There we go. E is in there once. So let's put E in there twice. E is in now there twice. So you get an idea. If you want to count the items in your list, that's a quick, easy way to do it. There are other operations similar to that in here, but again, that's not the purpose of this. So let's move on to a little bit of a different gear. So these are broken out. If you look at the documentation, these are broken out into different sections. There's like general functions, which kind of just covered, search functions, which I also kind of covered, and then there's all sorts of other categories in there. And so you'll start to see like these groupings make more sense. I kind of rearranged them to make more sense for the video, but let's do some more fun stuff. So we're going to extend a list, and we're going to basically take our values. So we're going to do just a simple list, and then I want to extend it to index position. Well, technically 5 items in this list, and I'm going to use this value to extend it. And so you'll see what happens. There we go. So 1, 1, our first 2, and then it extends the next 3 because we need to get to 5, 2 by 2s. So if we did 3, it would be 3. So you get the idea. Like, you could just create fake data even if you wanted, or run this in one of your operations. If you need quick data though, this is like a really good way to get that in Pact. So let's get rid of this. Let's go back up here, because this is a very useful. And we're going to do some more insert things. So insert first. So this is going to add the E to the beginning. So you'll see this E, everything else is fine. We're just adding this to the beginning. And then I believe insert last, we'll add it. Insert N maybe? All right, well, I think maybe pen, okay, it's append last. There we go, so EE. So you can see it's just, if you want to add something to the beginning, the end, and again, a lot of this is just to be as efficient as possible, right? There's no like hidden agenda for these things. It's just meant to be easy, repeatable. If you're going to use it more than once, you might as well put it in a library. I think that's pretty common for most people to understand. And then let's insert. So this is going to fail. Obviously, you'll see that error. Insert at. So if we want to actually insert something, we know our list, which you should know. Again, I talked about that at the beginning. We should know the length of our list and how it should operate. We want to insert this at position 1. So now we have an E. But that should have insert at. Why did I put it there? 2, 1. Okay, that was maybe something was just, I was like, that did not look right. So at position 1 is exactly where it should be. I wonder if we can do at position 0. Yep, so it puts that at the beginning. So this could fail. This could fail. So you could see this is past our index position. I believe there's an insert at star, and it tells you what's expected there. So you can play around with that. There's, again, the docs are great for this. We're just looking at the contract. We'll kind of help walk you through. And so let's get rid of this. Let's do another operation similar to this, and let's do replace first. Again, the nice thing is we talk about Pact being human readable. Whether it is or isn't is up for debate. But if we do replace first, you can see this A is no longer an A, it's an E. And everything else in my list is good, even the other E in here. So you can just replace values in your list. So there's replace first, there's replace last. So last should stay as an E, A, B, C, D, E, right? We're gonna keep that E in there. And then there's replace, I wanna say at. Yeah, replace at allows you to specify the index position, just like where we inserted. It's kind of a cool set of operations right there. And then let's do another similar one, but they all have a good use. So let's remove item E. Okay, remove E. So again, these are simple lists, simple operations. They're low gas, nothing special here. We can remove item. One of the, I think it's not complicated, but it gets a little more complex, is when we get into manipulating our lists a lot. So we are going to shift left. And what this is going to do is this is going to move this element into my list at the end here and shift this A out. So we could do P. So again, E is still there. If we do E, we just get 2 E's. But that's essentially removing the first item. The other thing we can do is we can do shift right. Shift right, which, if you guessed it, puts this at the beginning and shifts this E off. So let's again show an example. Let's do an L. So L, A, B, C, D. So you can see shift right removes, shifts everything to the right. Shift left shifts everything to the left, and it adds this element here. So I think those are pretty self-explanatory. By the name of the function, you kind of have an idea already what it does. And then another, I don't know that a lot of people would use this, but you may use this in certain operations where you're manipulating your list and you know your index positions, you're actually tracking those in a database, and well within Pact, and you're wanting to handle, let's say, an order book. So you really have to have fast, efficient functionality here. You want to know if you place a bid or you place an amount out there for 100 of one asset and you want 1,000 of another, somebody can match that up. But as you know, with blockchains and other technology, there does come gas costs. And so it is really efficient when you know how your list handling works. Very simple to work with lists, and you can keep them very concise and allow those operations to kind of work efficiently. So if you're tracking index positions, you'll know right where it is. But this one, let's do this. Roll left. You'll get an idea. We are rolling our list, swapping it, and let me see. There we go. A, B, C, D, E. Roll right. Should be E, A, B, C, D. And roll left should be B, C, D, E, A. So we're swapping, right? Roll left, we're swapping the A, putting it at the end. And then we're swapping the E and putting it at the beginning. So again, this is like a quick. I meant for this to be simple, fast-paced on this one. Usually, I'd like to take a little bit more time to kind of explain these things. This code is free to view on chain. There is a docs library on Read the Docs. I would recommend you follow Crypto Pascal on GitHub if you are interested in this. All of his code that's like reusable for other people is all documented, so you should be able to find resources. Absolutely ask questions. I really appreciate all the engagement. I appreciate all the questions coming in. It's helping me come up with what to do next as we kind of work through different functionality in Pact. Some of these will be shorter, some will be longer. This topic is very important because list handling is critical, and it's abused in a lot of cases. And when you abuse it, it can really create havoc in your smart contracts. And so it's very important. Again, if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to drop the link for YouTube. If you wouldn't mind following and subscribing if you haven't, please like, retweet. If you enjoy this content, I want to continue doing it. And again, thank you, Azza, for editing these. Really appreciate it. And I hope that everybody has a great day.